The season starts in a new way where we see a boy named Yun sitting on the roof enjoying the view, but his teachers start thinking that he is going to commit suicide, due to which everyone asks him to come down. Yun starts enjoying everyone's reaction and he deliberately sits on the corner of the roof. On the other hand, there is a commotion in the class regarding Yun. Then a girl named Saibo stands in front of the teacher and comes out of the class. She directly comes to the roof and sits next to Yun despite the teacher stopping her, who looks surprised to see her. Both of them start talking, after which Saibom first makes Yun stand by holding his hand but then pushes him down from the roof. Firefighters are already standing below to save Yun, due to which Yun survives safely, but the police arrest Saibom and start taking him away. Then she comes running to Yun and asks him to support her because he did not really try to kill her. Hyun just keeps staring at her but then asks her to be his girlfriend, and the scene cuts right there. After this, a time 12 years later is shown where Saibom has become a police officer and Hyun is also a detective now. Hyun is called along with him for a crime investigation where they find a dead body which has cut marks on its neck. Both of them start searching the room together. Then they find the murderer under the bed whose mouth is seen filled with blood. They understand that he has killed the man in front of him by biting his teeth and start questioning him. Then he tells them that he suddenly started feeling thirsty. After that he does not remember anything. After getting that man arrested, Hyun calls Saibom and tells him about this case. Saibom also comes to meet a policeman after listening to this, where she sees that the policeman is drinking blood after slitting the throat of another officer. Saibom controls the policeman with great difficulty and then the other officers come and take him away. Saibom calls Yun and comes to the bathroom where she tells him everything and sees that her hand is injured due to the fight. Meanwhile, a special team led by a man named Taek arrives and takes the affected officer with them. Taek asks Saibom to come with him because he is also at risk of getting affected. He also takes Saibom's phone, on which Yun's call starts coming. Taek picks up the call and starts talking to Yun, and Yun immediately comes to meet him, where he comes to know how all this is happening because of a drug. After hearing all this, Yun goes to the foreign crime scene again and starts investigating, where he finds a tablet. He brings that tablet to his friend who was an expert in computer searching and asks him to find more information about that tablet. Saibom is also shown in a hospital-like place where an army officer named Jisoo is doing his blood test, after which Saibom is locked in a room and we see that some or the other affected person is locked in all the rooms of the hospital. Yun's friend tells him that the name of the tablet is Next, which was being sold as a medicine for pneumonia, but due to the side effects, it was stopped from being sold. Yun takes Next to Taek and sees that the hospital is situated in an empty place far away. Saibom also goes to talk to Taek, where he tells him about the infection and how the affected people feel very thirsty and their thirst can be satiated only with blood, and gives Saibom a pass and asks him to come for a checkup every week and lets him go. Yun also reaches there at the same time and starts checking Saibom in trouble, after which he gives Next to Taesik and leaves from there with Saibom. Saibom suddenly asks Yun that if he marries her. Here we are also shown in flashback how in school when Yun asked her to be his girlfriend, Saibom refused. Saibom actually wanted to buy a house which is given only to policemen on the condition that they should be married, and she tells all this to Yun, on which Yun agrees to do a paper marriage with her. Thus both of them get married for each other's benefit. Both also shift to an apartment where all the Saibom also sends rice cakes to the building people. Thus she meets most of the people and she also makes a very good friend with a little girl, Sion. During this time we are shown a couple, Young and his wife, living in a flat. Young's wife is seen taking Next medicine, after which the scene gets cut. The next day, Tae Suk comes to meet Yun and asks him to catch the people selling Next illegally. Yun catches those people, but then he also comes to know that these people were selling Next illegally. He has sold the next lot of people. Hyeon returns to the flats where he meets Young in the lift along with Saibom. Hyeon sees blood on Young's sleeves and becomes suspicious. News of the infection spreads throughout the city and everyone is forbidden to leave their homes. Saibom immediately goes to the supermarket. Sue buys some food and returns to the flat where she meets the building representative, Yoon Ok. Yoon tells her how Hyeon's wife Minji is sick and that there is a lot of noise coming from the flat. Saibom immediately enters Hyeon's house where Hyeon cleverly locks her in the bathroom with his affected wife. Saibom hides behind the shower glass and starts looking at Minji, who looks affected. Saibom then somehow opens the bathroom door where Hyeon is standing outside. Minji runs towards Hyeon and both of them leave the house. Saibom calls Hyeon and asks him to come immediately and then runs after Minji. Hyeon also reaches there and together they tie up Minji. Hyeon also punches Young hard to put Saibom in danger. Minji is handed over to Tae. It is also shown in the scene that Taek's wife is also affected and Taek has kept her in a safe place in the hospital. He is looking for the cure of next because of his wife. Taek comes to meet Saibom in the flats where he tells him that this disease is slowly going to spread in his flats too, due to which he along with the rest of the army men gets a steel wall installed around the flats and gets the flats blocked. This means that neither can anyone go inside the flat nor can anyone come out from there. Sai's mom who is outside the flats calls Saibom and asks him to take care of her. Everyone in the flats also looks worried but no one is allowed to come out. Saibom and Yun together search the whole building so that no affected person is left in their building and here they meet some cleaners. Along with the cleaners, a masked boy named Andrio is seen on whom Yun starts getting suspicious but he does not believe him for now. Ignores. He leaves Yun with him. Gak was also locked in the flats with them, so now he stays with them in their house. Saibom also brings Soyeon to stay in her house. The next day Jisoo brings them food through a door in the steel wall, which Hyeon and Saibom take and distribute in the whole building. While distributing food, both of them come to know that the infection has started spreading in the other buildings, so both of them immediately block all the entrances of their building so that the infection does not spread further in their building. A secret is revealed that Next was actually made by Tae-suk in collaboration with someone, but after the failure of Next and when his wife got affected, Tae stopped selling Next, but his partner took Next to the illegal market. Tae-suk gets the net and cable etc. of the building shut down. The building people are also not happy with the actions of Saibom and Hyeon, but when they see the affected person outside the building, they get scared. Young tries to send the building people out by luring them with money but Yun and Saibom manage to control him. Saibom gives a last warning to Young and lets him go, but Hing still doesn't stop. Saibom becomes good friends with another boy in the building, C, and she is seen going inside his house. Yun starts worrying about Saibom and he comes to know from Soy that Saibom has gone to meet someone on the upper floor. Yun immediately knocks on the door of Hun's house loudly and as soon as the door opens, he goes inside and starts looking for Saibom, who is seen sitting at a table happily eating snacks. Yun seeing Saibom safe and sound, he apologizes to Sehun for his actions, after which Sehun gives both of them lots of snacks, after which both of them start returning to their house, then they come to know that somehow the affected people have entered the flat and both of them immediately leave everything and start taking out the affected people from the building. One of the affected people jumps on Yun to bite him, then Saibom catches him from behind, then Tae-suk also comes there and shoots that affected person. Saibom gets angry at Tae-suk, then he explains to her that there is no other way left except shooting them. Ties together with both of them, Ties checks the whole building again and locks all the doors again, after which Ties talks to him on the roof. Hyeon tells him that Saibom's injury is not healing but he is not affected either, then Tae-suk tells him that Saibom is not affected even after getting injured, due to which they will have to keep taking his black test. After this Ties meets the people of the building and asks them to be more careful. Saibom takes a letter written for Sai's mother and meets Tae-suk alone on the roof where she asks him to give that letter to Sai's mother. Tae-suk secretly injects Saibom with an anesthetic and takes her out of the building in a car. Yun sees him and immediately runs after the car. Yun saves Saibom with great force and she regains consciousness at the same time. Tae-suk also tells them that Saibom has antibodies in her blood that can help in their treatment, that is why he did all this. Saibom listening to Tae, Jisoo gives her blood sample for testing, after which she goes back to her building with Hyeon. That same night, Tae-suk cuts off the electricity of the building and everyone has to live without electricity. Soon, everyone runs out of water, which leads to fights. Gut sees Saibom's injury and thinks that Saibom will also be affected, which is why he, along with the rest of the building, locks Saibom and Hyeon in their house. Young starts misleading everyone so that he can get Hyeon and Saibom out of the building. Andrew immediately informs Saibom of Hyeon's intentions, who reaches everyone with a knife. Saibom moves forward to cut her hand to find out who is actually affected, but Hyeon comes from behind and snatches the knife from her and cuts his hand. One girl from the building turns out to be affected, whom everyone locks in the gym. After this, Saibom immediately brings Hyeon home and angrily bandages her wound. Saibom refuses to put her life in danger again and it is seen that Saibom cares for Yun a lot. Gug also apologizes to Saibom and Yun who forgive him immediately. Tae finds out from Saibom's blood report that he has a cure for the infection but his intentions don't seem right. In one scene, we see Yun checking his neck in the bathroom mirror and we find out that Yun has also been injured by an infected person, after which the scene cuts. Saibo gets worried due to Son's sudden disappearance, but Andrew tells her that he saw Son leaving the building in the morning. After this, all the people in the building enter Son's house and take away all his food and water. Taeyo's wife starts feeling sick and he calms her down by giving her Saibum's antibodies. Jisoo asks Taesik what to do next, to which he says this. He tells them to spread the news that he has got antibodies and will soon bring out Saibum as well. Yun stops himself from drinking water and seeing his actions. Saibum seems to be thinking about the reason for some problems in the building. Saibum and Yun look around the building together, where Saibum finds Sing's dead body in the storage room. Then they hear the sound of a gunshot and both run towards their room, where they see all the people in the building standing outside their room. Those people ask both of them to go inside the house, where Seo Bom sees Andrew sitting with Seo Eun on the sofa and asks him about his real identity. Here Andrew takes off his mask and Yun realizes that Andrew is a murderer who has been on the run for a long time. Andrew has a gun and keeping Soy with him, he asks everyone to gather for a meeting. Andrew threatens to kill a girl with the gun and Seo Bum asks Yun to go with him to the other building to open the emergency switch so that they can get electricity and water back. Yun and Saewam agree to this and they go to the other building and turn on the switch. Due to the noise, the affected people start chasing them. Then Yun pushes Saewam into the lift of the other building and stops the affected people himself. Saebum, she sees that the affected people are not saying anything to Yun and she understands that Yun has also been affected. After this, she pulls Yun into the lift and the lift stops. Saebum hugs Yun while crying. After this, Yun tells Saebum that he has already talked to Taeuk, who will soon take him and So out of here safely. On the other hand, Young and Andrew are also seen talking about how Andrew will kill Saebum and Yun when they return. Yun comes to the roof with Saebam while Andrew is holding them on the ground. Floor Saebum, who was waiting there, immediately takes Gak and Soy with her and starts to go towards the garage through the other door of the roof. Just then Andrio, who had already suspected, comes to the roof. Yun locks the door of the roof and asks Saebum to leave and confronts Andrio himself, where the infection soon takes over Yun and Yun bites Andrio's neck. The scenes get cut here and Saebum also comes out in the car with the help of Tais, where she first asks Tais to go back inside and save Yun. But Tais makes her unconscious by giving her an injection of anesthesia. Saebum wakes up in Tae's hospital from where she tries to leave, but then Taesik takes her to meet his wife, where Saebum starts feeling bad for her and she agrees to stay in the hospital and donate her blood for his wife. Bum is seen crying all night thinking about Yun, where she also watches a video on her phone in which Yun says, "I love you," to her. Taek calls Saebum to meet him after a few days and tells him that 2 injection shots have been made by extracting antibodies from his body, which can be given to only 2 people. He keeps one for his wife and gives the other to Saebum. He gets Saebum away from there through Jisoo before the military men arrive and gives the last shot to his wife, who finally gets well. The military men arrive and catch Taek, who promises them that he will be their best friend. On the other hand, Saebum gives his shorts to Seo Yoon's affected mother and then immediately gets in the car to save Yun. She comes to the flats. Some good people of the flats tell Saebum that how after biting Andrew, Yun went back inside the house where he locked himself. Saebum sees Young knocking on the door outside their house, who had the intention to kill Yun. Saebum beats him and goes inside the flat, where she sees Yun wrapped in a sheet. She consoles Yun and on hearing Saebum's voice, Yun regains control, after which both of them share a sweet kiss. Hyun and Saibo come out, and they come to know that Andrew's dead body is missing from the roof. Then Andrew puts a gun on Yun's head from behind. Saebum shoots his hand and Andrew gets thirsty on seeing the blood. Before that he attacks Saebum. Before Saebum could do that, she shoots him, after which she immediately comes and sits next to Yun. Taeseok also comes with his entire army to catch the people of the society. Actually, he had already come to know from Saebum that there are some people in the building who are fine even after being affected, that is, they also have antibodies in their blood, that is why he had helped Saebum to escape. Taes finds the people with antibodies and he also gets those who supported Andrio arrested. Finally, we see the time after 1 year where Saebum is seen playing with Sai in the same society where everything is fine now. Yun comes from behind and hugs her and both look at each other smilingly, that is, now Yun was also fine. Both hold each other's hands and start walking in the park, and this is how this season has a happy ending. Thank you for watching.